my name is Elena.
And I'm Fotios, and this is the Game Code.
And today we're going to talk about top 10 games that we want to play.
It's games that have been already published, but we haven't had the chance to get our hands on them. And and it might be older games, it might be newer games, but either way,
They're all
games,
published, and for whatever reason we didn't manage to play them.
And we would like to try them at some point.
Let's go.
Let's give it a go, yes.
At number 10, and that's probably just about at number 10 really.
Yes.
It's Great Western Trail Argentina. And this is an Alexander Pfister game published in 2022, so it's fairly new. The reason why we actually want to play it is because we have Great Western Trail, the original edition, the second edition.
Yes.
The second edition. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. The second edition, and we really like it. So we said we're going to give this a try. I don't think there's much of a spin there, but again, I'm not 100% sure. I think there is, obviously, the theme is different because it's in Argentina, so it takes place in a different place. It takes place in a different place. Yeah, that's what I said.
There's definitely a different map, a different rondel there. Yes.
But it's technically still the same rondel with the same, deck building, the same, you deliver cattle. And it's a matter of, I think they've implemented something a bit sneakily that you could deliver early your cattle in a different way. You can take a shortcut kind of thing. And you have ship delivery, which is different. Whereas in the second edition, you can only deliver by train. Here you can deliver in more than one way.
It seems like I've made some changes in the gameplay and made it more flexible, so I will be there to see what changes they have made. Many people say that it's better than the original, so I would like to see.
Yeah, well, I would like to give it a go if it's better than the original. If the original is good enough.
Yeah. Our number 9 is a big epic game. It's called Twilight Imperium.
Surely not the biggest.
I don't think it's the biggest, no, but it's a big game.
Big.
Epic game.
Biggest.
The biggest. Twilight Imperium, the 4th edition, the latest edition, published by 3 people which I will not attempt to pronounce their names. Designed by these people, published by Fantasia Flight Games in 2017. Twilight Imperium plays from 3 to 6 players.
And that's one of the reasons why we didn't play it.
Yes, correct. That's what we did. Acquired. I mean, you have to have a big commitment, both space and time. So it takes about 10 hours to complete or something like that. So you need a big full day to play it, and it's really recommended to play the full experience with 6 people. Everything, battling, everything there. It
sounds amazing, doesn't it?
It sounds amazing. Yeah,
yes.
It sounds like an experience. It's a 4X game, which is the 4X's mean you can explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate, and you have to do all of this. Otherwise, you don't have a chance.
To lose, and 10 hours are gone down the drain.
And this it does take place in space. You try to build your intergalactic empire through trade, research, politics, and conquest. And we played recently the Twilight Inscription, which is the small brother, the Ronald Wright version of Twilight Imperium, and we kind of enjoy it. So we would be very interested to see how this big one goes.
Mentally prepare for 10 hours worth of game.
Yeah.
Surely it will be such an experience.
I mean, we usually play a lot of hours.
Yeah.
But we usually
it's the commitment
games,
of doing one thing, isn't it?
It's another experience to, let's say, have a full day of gaming and play, let's say, 4 or 5 games with breaks and everything. And every game you change, it's your mind changes.
Yes.
It's a different thing to just play one game for 10 hours.
Well, we'll see. At number 8 is Shikoku 1889. And this is because I was very interested in playing an 18xs games. Although we played, what is that game called again?
Age of Steam.
And it was some kind of train game, but it wasn't apparently the experience.
The 18xs experience, yeah.
So thank you guys for your suggestion, because this game was one of your suggestions, and I'm really looking forward to trying this. It's a Japanese theme game, and it's a technically, so I've heard, a very 18xs games of the 18xs series. It's an economic train manufacturing transportation where you do some auctions and bidding to build your routes and
you have some stock market
stuff,
elements. Yeah, basically you try to be rich by expanding your route, by taking advantage of opportunities around the map. Yes, basically that's the idea. You have a market as well. Yeah, I think.
I could only imagine that you would have something like a market in it, to be perfectly honest.
And this particular 18xx game, the Shikoku 1889, was on Kickstarter a couple of years ago, like a reprint of it, and I regret not backing it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, given this game was launched in 2004, so this is an
Yes,
an older game.
But hopefully somebody will sell it down the
Not
line.
like it or something like that, and then we'll put our
new
hands
edition.
on, and that would be amazing to play, really.
Our number 7 is Power Grid, a game designed by Firman Fries, and it was published again in 2004. It's again an old game. It's supposed to be a very good economic simulation of how to develop and build your power grid.
Yeah.
So it's about also some network building, some income again some auction and bidding, and because you have these kind of elements, the auction and bidding, 2 players doesn't make a lot of sense. So
yeah,
this
who are you
plays,
going to bet with?
This
The
plays
only
better
opponent.
in 4 or 5.
And I think that was the main reason why we actually didn't buy the game. I mean, the main reason why we play our games in 2, it's because, you know, we have some friends, but we don't have a gazillion friends like everybody does. Our group is not ginormous.
Well, we play with, most of the time we play with 2.
Yeah.
A lot of times we play with 3.
But it's very rarely we play more than 3.
Exactly.
So, you know, if an opportunity arises and we're going to be in a group of more than 3 people, then we'll probably play this game most likely, like a convention of some sort. But it's very hard to find Power Grid in a convention, for example, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
because
not
it's an older game.
Yeah, not that much of a sort game really, and people like forget about them old games. So it's hard to find somebody to actually teach you this game. So it's still an enigma for us, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And it comes with multiple maps like Concordia or like Ticket to Ride, so you can
I
play
could see how that would
different
work
maps,
amazing,
yes.
yeah.
It's something that, yes, I think we should at some point try to find the opportunity to have a go with it.
And then we have Rococo at number 6. And when I say Rococo, I mainly mean the deluxe edition. And not because we're fancy and we only like the deluxe things.
But we're fancy.
But I'm not denying that. But I mean, look at my shirt, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it's incredibly hard to find the previous edition, 2013 edition. So I think we said we're going to settle with what we have now. And I want to say they have a kind of an expansion, an add-on of some sort that goes on the side of the map, I want to say. That's new compared to the last edition.
Yes.
So it does give you some different things.
Yes, there are some new stuff.
This is an Ego Griffin Games, 1 to 5 players, Ian O'Toole art, which is beautiful and gorgeous. I mean, look at that cover, it's absolutely beautiful. Anyhow.
Hopefully the cover is there, right? Right
What
now, as we speak.
The cover, look
cover
at that. Look at it.
It's here, yeah.
Anyhow. Deck building game with some open drafting. You have hand management there as well with a set collection in it. Technically what you do with all these cards that you build, you deck build and you collect and you draft and whatnot is you build dresses. So you get your material and you try to sew these dresses, you're trying to manage all the employees under there, and because there are a lot of people involved in making all these dresses where you buy stuff and where you sell stuff and you create stuff. So you technically make dresses, ball gowns particularly. And I only hope that the art is as good as the cover.
Yeah, I think so. It's a game to the lighter side, I would say. But still,
it sounds like more than that, though, doesn't it? And the box is ginormous.
It's something that I would really like to try. But it's also, there's also, I think, a correlation, at least in my mind, when it comes to complexity and cost. So I would pay more for a more complex game than I would pay for a less complex game. I'm not sure if this is a justifiable correlation, but at least it exists in my head. Our number 5 is Endless Winter, Paleo-Americans. And this is a game published last year, 2022.
And this is Evelyn.
And this here is Evelyn. And the game is designed by Stan Kordonski and published by Fantasia Games. 1 to 4 players, combination of deck building with worker placement, and basically it's an adventure game, it's a bit prehistoric, a bit of territory building and so on and so forth, where you try to grow your population and settle in new lands. Now, we offered this game as a giveaway.
I was thinking of that. I think we did, didn't we? We gave it as a giveaway at 100 subscribers.
Yes, but we haven't had yet the chance to play it ourselves.
Yeah, wow. Well, it's such an amazing game. We didn't even play it.
No, I made
That's a bit disappointing, isn't it?
I made this mistake when the pledge manager for Unconscious Minds from the same company was open. Basically, I bought through the Endless Winter with all the kerfuffle, all the play mats and
You
everything.
have to have the playmats, right?
Of course, duh. But the problem is that it will not be delivered until Unconscious Minds also fulfills.
So that's
So we
that.
have to wait a year or whatever. We have
Nobody's
to wait
going to be
yes.
interested in that game at that point. But it's fine. We like old games too,
Yep.
apparently. At number 4, there is a 1987 Channel Tunnel. And this game is designed by the same people that designed Red Cathedral, and that's Isra C. and Shay S. Published by Looping Games in 2019 this time, 2-player only game. And technically what you do in this game is you build the Channel Tunnel in between France and Breton. Say that.
Which side are you?
Well, I guess you flip a coin, right?
Yeah. How do we know about this game? Do you know?
How do we know about this game? How do we know about this game?
When we cook with Elena, we
cook together,
we cook
yeah.
together. Sometimes we put the iPad there in the corner and watch some videos from other YouTube board game creators, content creators, and we saw this particular video of innovative worker placement games.
Oh, I remember now.
Yes, it was by the Maple University channel. It's a couple based in Australia.
And they were doing this
yes, from
this video about different worker placement mechanic.
Yeah,
They were
exactly.
they were talking about
Unique.
how worker placement works, but in a different fashion, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not just a straightforward worker placement, is it?
Yeah, and they discussed
Wait.
about this game, and we looked at it, and it looked very interesting. It's a bit hard to find it in the UK, but maybe you can import it from Europe.
Or maybe somebody has it
Yeah.
and then wants to sell it to us. We'll buy it. Thank you. I'm not asking for it, but you never know.
But yeah, I mean, it has this innovative worker placement game and the multi-use cards as well, which we really like as well. And it's a game for 2 players, a small box game, so it ticks all the boxes, I guess. Number 3 is The Gallerist, designed by Vital Lacerda, and
his
again
friend.
art by Ian O'Toole. It's also published by Eagle Griffon Games, 2015 as well, 1 to 4 players. And basically in this game you are you have an art gallery and you try to amass fortune by stacking up your reputation, by taking in audience or
People, yeah.
tourists to show your collections. It's an economic game, worker placement again, and why I am particularly attracted by this game is that I have read that similarly to Kanban, everything makes sense in this game, and we really like complex games that make
a lot of sense,
and
yeah.
don't have complexity for the sake of complexity. So for me it sounds a very appealing game, and I would really like to try it.
And I would like to try it too.
Alright.
At number 2, we have Hegemony, Lead Your Class to Victory. And this game is designed by, and I'm going to ask my trusty assistant over here to pronounce his Greek with his Greek accent.
Varnavas Timotheou and Vangelis Bagiartakis.
Thank you very much.
And Vangelis Bagiartakis has also designed this cool game here called Souvlaki Wars.
I'm hungry now.
So tell us more about Hegemony.
So Hegemony is a 2 to 4 player game. It's been released this year only. It feels like I've heard of this game so many times in the last year or so that it's absolutely everywhere, and for whatever reason we've not managed to actually play it.
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure how, but it sounds like an amazing game. So technically you have 4 powers in this game. They're all asymmetric. You have the state, you have the capitalists, you have the middle class, and the working class. And what you do is you try to simulate technically a nation in a politically economic manner.
Yeah.
It's obviously has heavily asymmetric powers. There's a lot of economic industry, not manufacturing, but
It has
action.
politics.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically what the game does, even if you don't know anything about this kind of concepts, it teaches you this concept.
I
which
think
is
that was the
very
idea of
cool,
the game
yes.
itself, wasn't it?
It has this educational aspect, which is very...
Which is what they're trying to focus
Yeah.
on. This publisher itself, they're trying to focus on getting people to actually understand what all these big words in fancy place actually means, because not everybody has a particularly opening towards this side of the world. Like I was not particularly aware, and I'm very interested.
Exactly. And be prepared, because if you go for this game, basically you have to read 5 rule books. One let's say, the common rule book, and then one rule book for every faction, basically, for every of the different like the state and capitalist and so on and so forth.
I mean, we were meant to play. I mean, we were about-ish to play this game, but since it's just the two of us and we're not very popular, it's hard to play this game without two people to play the other two factions, right?
But there's an expansion.
That's cool, isn't it?
Which has automas and can simulate. You can play by yourself or you can play with two players, and you can basically play a 4-player game with the automas simulating the other factions. And instead, when we went to Cyprus in May, we met Varnavas Timotheou, one of the designers of the game, and he did mention that he prefers to play the game two-handed, basically, with the automas.
Which sounds very good, doesn't it?
Yes, so maybe at some point we can
give that a go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at number 1, and that's not the last, but it's technically the first, we have Fields of Arle, made by Uwe Rosberg. We really like Uwe, don't we?
We do like
Uwe is awesome, yes. So the reason why we got, let me just finish this and then we're going to go into the discussion because we're never going to talk about this. Feuerlandspiel 2014 game, which is now an old game apparently. It's a solo or a 2-player only game. So this is the reason why we actually got this interest in this game.
I will
go for it.
So in 2013, Uwe published Caverna. Caverna is supposedly 1 to 7 players game, and we have tried Caverna. Actually, we own Caverna. First time we tried in a convention with 6 players. Amazing experience.
Absolutely incredible, wasn't
yes.
it? And we bought it literally the next day.
And then we tried different player counts. We tried at 5, at 4, at 3. And we tried a couple of times at 2, the two of us.
I thought maybe we couldn't remember the game properly. I was like, surely this is not the same game we played in the convention with like a million people. It was so incredible.
At 4 and 5 and 6 and 3 is good.
It's very good, yes.
At 2 is a bit underwhelming, I think, at least in
even
our
scaled down, it's
yeah.
not that good, is it?
So 1 year after, Uwe published this game, Fields of Arle, and it's only for 2 players. So basically, again, it's farming, economic, and all the goodness from Caverna.
It's basically just Caverna for 2.
Yes, this is what we hope at least, right?
Yes.
We haven't played it, but this is the major attraction for us for this game. Again, it's a very big, heavy box with all the goodies inside.
I mean, it might be that some of you guys might say, oh, why don't you try Cave versus Cave? Yeah. But I think Cave versus Cave is technically...
Caverna Cave versus Cave, yes.
Technically just about the cave, whereas this one has the extra elements of farming and the animals and all of that, which are part of Caverna, the big Caverna, and are part of what we liked. That's the reason why we wouldn't go for the Cave versus Cave.
I think Cave versus Cave is also a lighter experience.
Correct.
Whereas Caverna and Fields of Arle is heavier, more complex games. And just to avoid any confusion, we haven't even tried Agricola, and that maybe should be our number 11 of the list, whatever.
Yeah, you want to add it
on? Yes.
Well, number, 10A.
We have to try to add it in our want to play list, Agricola as well, so we haven't tried that. So we would be interested at some point to have played all Agricola, Caverna and Fields of Arle to see
which one is which and what's going on.
Exactly, but how we envision it is that Caverna will stay there for 4 or 5 player game experiences, and hopefully Fields of Arle will be also there for just the 2 of us.
Yeah, to quench the thirst of the 2 of us.
Exactly.
So that was the video.
That was our top 10 games we'd like to play in the future.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for watching.
See you later.
Bye.